Yeah, let's do
All
it.
right, here's the tweet from Adib Hana or Hannah. PHP/Laravel is probably the most enjoyable language framework to work with, but it's also the least paying. Ever since I switched to Go/Node, my salary almost doubled.
Hmm.
And we got a couple of me toos in the replies as well.
Yeah.
So as a longtime Laravel jobs person, tell me what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably roughly correct. Just generally speaking. I mean, I think if you, but there's like the big trade-offs there of, um, just because you know a language doesn't mean you can get a job in that language. There's presumably less jobs in those languages,
Mm,
in general. I think there's likely way less jobs for a pure Go developer than a
yeah.
pure Laravel developer. So, so are you able to like not just learn the language, but then become proficient, show you're proficient, and all those type of things? Do you want to even do that? So there's a lot of factors there that I think are more complicated than that tweet, which is just like, if I learn Go, I will make double the money. I don't think that's true, sort of on the surface there. What do you think about that?
That seems right to me. I think man, I think the top maybe 3 to 4% of Laravel jobs probably pay equivalent to most of the other jobs, maybe top 5 to 7% or
Yeah,
something. And I
let's do
feel
that.
like if you're so I what I mean to say is I don't think you can be an average or below average PHP developer and then pick up another language and go get one of these top paying jobs at Vercel or wherever,
Right.
whoever hires Go people or JavaScript people. But I think it is interesting. I think the Stack Overflow survey recently that came out a couple months ago, maybe it was pretty clear that JavaScript developers on average get paid more. But the thing
Yeah.
I don't understand about that is so I feel like you and I operate just kind of in a separate world of almost purely Laravel developers and not PHP, not Symfony, not WordPress.
Right.
And I just don't know how much that survey reflects that reality. And I think the base, like the sample size is so much larger for PHP
Right. It's a much
that the
wider group that
yeah,
you're.
there are
Yeah.
just so many more low paying jobs because there are so many more jobs and it is kind of like a beginner friendly language historically. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
I agree. And I think also like a lot of these like JavaScript jobs, there's less of them. They are heavy in the Vercells of the world. Hey, we just got $300 million. We need to blow
Right.
$300 million. So we're going to like pay top dollar for these roles we have because we're not going to put a lot of like time into like, we're going to let the money do some of the work for us. Like it's going to be a very high paying job, very highly qualified people are going to apply, and we're going to filter that way versus like maybe going a different route with that. So yeah, I don't know. So the way less like I think front end React developers than PHP developers, right? Like what 1/100th as many or 1/50th as many, like a lot less, I would say,
Yeah.
than PHP developers. So
Just because there are so many PHP developers.
yeah,
There are
there's
also a
so
lot
many.
of these front end React only, but the PHP universe is just so
Yeah,
freaking
it's
big.
way bigger, way bigger. I feel like, in Twitter, it can feel like, oh man, there's React developers everywhere. But the reality is there's way, way more PHP developers out
Yeah,
there.
I think you're probably right.
And it also depends a lot on the jobs. Like, yeah, like you're not going to use PHP to launch a missile, right? Or to like send a
Hopefully not.
satellite into space.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that would be recommended. So, but maybe you would use Go for that, or certainly you'd use C++ or
Right.
something like that. So, yeah, if you go become a C++ guru, you could get a job working at SpaceX firing missiles, which is going to be a much higher paying job than, building a website or a B2B SaaS app
Mm,
is probably going to pay you. But, again, like you also going to have to be the best of the best. You probably have to have like a whole additional set of knowledge, I would think, with mathematics and things beyond just, yes, I know how C++ works. You might have to have a little more other knowledge beyond just the code. So, there's so many factors. I think it's hard to just, I don't like that blanket statement in general that I definitely think it's a bad career idea to just be like, well, I'll just learn this and then I'll get paid twice as much. Like, I don't think that's gonna work out for most people. Um,
Yeah, and
in
I feel
that way
like this
exactly.
guy, I feel like Adib is kind of a senior developer anyway, and I feel like
Right.
for a senior developer, that may be more of a viable strategy. Like
I'm
if
gonna
you're a senior
graduate.
developer and you already have all of like the kind of like the other stuff, like not the programming, but all the other stuff that senior developers know, like
Right.
trade-offs being one of them,
Right.
and all the stuff that you have to know to be a senior, and you're like, well, I'm just going to switch over to a different language. I feel like that's a much more viable strategy than I've just learned PHP. I'm going to go just learn Node
Right.
or Go, and then I'm going to get paid a ton. It's like, I
And it's
don't
also,
know.
this is not even really a new idea, and I don't think it's even that. It's you can make the same case with .NET and any other language or framework. I feel
Mm,
like, especially these widely used ones, because it's like you become a senior developer, and then you usually have like a choice, right? Like you have like one of three choices. Like I become the manager, which is like what a lot of people do. Like in order for me to move up and get paid more money, I become the manager of other devs, right?
yep.
Or else I move to like a more a rarer language or some in-demand language or something like that, where I can take these baseline skills that apply everywhere and then apply them to this new language and be already kind of ahead of the curve there.
Yep.
Or like I go start my own thing because now I know all the stuff coding wise, and maybe I get a founding partner who does marketing stuff and whatever. I go do that route. So like, yeah, I think that this is kind of like not that. I don't think it's Laravel specific at all, and and in general, I think it's kind of a standard career path of like a senior developer is like, yeah, you get to a point where you're gonna have to make a choice of if you're looking to go progress forward, right? Like a lot of people also hit that, and they're like, well, I'm 40 and I got two kids, and I'm like, cool, just like this job pays well, and I just want to work my 35 hours a week, and I'm not trying to like also learn a side thing and
Yep.
get a new job at a startup or whatever. Like I don't want to do that whole thing. So yeah, I'm fine with this, which is a fourth choice, of course, as well. But yeah, so I don't know. I think it's fine, but not really Laravel specific would be my.
Yeah, interesting anecdata, at least from this one person,
Mm,
to switch over like that. And I think, man, I don't know. It's just so hard to make opinions or have opinions about the PHP industry as a whole because I just am not a part of it.
yeah,
And I also, frankly, I haven't done like the pure developer job hunt in a long, long time.
right.
Like I was at Resolute for 5 years, and then I left to go to Tuple for a second, and then now I'm at Planet Scale, and none of those have been. I'm looking for a job in Laravel, and
Right.
so I just don't even have enough opinions really to say.
Yeah, well, you're kind of you've made a different choice when you reach a certain level. It's
Yeah,
like this more like developer relations or however, I don't know what you would even classify your, is
developer
that
educator,
developer
developer
educator?
relations folks have a lot of opinions about what makes a DevRel, and I don't
Okay.
have any opinions. I just teach people MySQL, so developer educator.
All right, there you go, developer
Yeah,
educator. So, um, yeah, so I guess that's my take.
that's a
All
good
right.
take.